week, there's not many changes in the power rankings because the week 8 games were so terrible. Like every favorite covered by double digits. Like, what are you going to do? I'm not going to shake things up just for the sake of it, but I guess you could still, Fitz will just reset his takes from last week, I guess.
100%. They'll feel fresh and new audience, new repetitive takes. Let's take a look at the top 4 here. All right, so you still have Kansas City at number 1, the Lions at 2, the Colts at 3, and the Eagles at 4. Did you have any consternation in this process? Did you ever think about maybe eliminating your brand bias against the Colts and finally putting them in their God-deserved second spot?
I probably should. I did think about moving the Colts up, but I'll tell you the team that I think is the most underrated among this group is the Eagles. We all just freak out about the Eagles. It's stupid. Like, oh, they didn't win by enough points, and the passing game's not good enough in this win and that one. They're 6-2. They still have the deepest roster in football. And you saw Saquon Barkley come alive finally. So I just kind of feel like, all right, we're a couple of weeks away from everybody agreeing that, yeah, the Eagles are the best team in football again. It just seems inevitable. We just freak out about the Eagles because we freak out about the Eagles. They're one of those teams, but I think they showed Sunday against the Giants. They're still the Eagles. They're still the reigning champs. This is still a really, really good team if they can get Saquon Barkley going.
Claudia,
but everybody was hurt. Everybody was hurt on the Giants defense.
And the Giants aren't very good.
And that was the only game that the Eagles had more yards. They've been outgained in every single game. And Saquon Barkley going off in that game doesn't really matter because he had the biggest drop-off in NFL history of yards per carry one year to the next year. He's had nothing going. The passing game has been putrid. The defense is not as good as it should be. And yeah, they beat up on a really crappy Giant squad where everybody was hurt in the secondary. So that's the one I disagree on.
All that, everything you said is may be true. And it's
right. But okay, so are we talking power rankings based off of their? Are we talking power rankings based off of their record or like the pure talent? Like
it is definitely not. I'll speak to this, not based on the record, because the Ravens are put in a spot that most 2-win teams are not. So this is definitely not based on Frank is
come on. But no, it is based on the fact that I don't want to be here in December and talking to you guys in this spot on a Tuesday, and you say, "Hey, remember when you had the Eagles down at 10 and now they're 11-2 this season?" Because we know they're inevitable. The Eagles are really, really good. They're going to get this thing going.
I'll pull up the group of the next 4 because this is where I have a little bit of an issue with you, Frank, because you have the number 1 seed in the NFC. The number 1 seed in the entire NFC today, should the playoffs start today, would not be the Philadelphia Eagles. No, because ties actually are great. It would be the Green Bay Packers. Yet you have the Packers all the way down at 6, 5-1-1 with that defense. Jordan Love just had that game. 20 straight completions, and you still bury the Packers all the way down at 6, Frank?
I mean, they did lose to the Browns. That is on their ledger. They did tie the Cowboys. Oh, what are we doing there? But yes, the Packers are one of those teams. They're exactly who Denny Green. They are who we thought they were. The Packers are a very good team that might not have a consistent ceiling as a Super Bowl team again. Look, the second half against the Steelers was awesome. They looked like they did in weeks 1 and 2. But I kept sitting there in the first half saying, this is just the same old Packers where, all right, where are you guys? Where's that team I saw blow out the Lions in week 1? Where's that team I saw blow out the Commanders in week 2? When I said you're the best team in football, it hasn't shown up in weeks 3, 4, 5. It just, week after week, I'm left a little bit underwhelmed by the Packers. Now, second half was awesome against the Steelers. They blew them out. I think that said more about the Steelers. We'll get to them. But I just wonder if the Packers are once again the good enough team. You're good enough to make the playoffs. You're good enough to win 12 games, but you may not be good enough to make a Super Bowl. I wonder. I want to see what we saw in the second half. I want to see that consistently. And the Packers, it just hasn't really been there for weeks now. Maybe they came alive, but I need to see it more than just for a half against a really bad Steelers team.
I always say with the Packers, it's like, they're just such an unsexy team. There's no like this number 1 wide receiver, this and that. It's like everybody gets the ball. Jordan Love looks good. They have Micah now. The defense does enough. So I kind of agree with the 6 ranking for the Packers. Curious on the Bills though. So that after back-to-back losses, that win over the Panthers was enough for you to say the Bills are firmly in the 5 spot?
They worry me a little bit just because you look at the Falcons and what they've done since that win over the Bills, and it looks like an absolutely the Falcons look like a putrid offense, and they put up almost 400 yards in the first half against the Bills. So I do worry about the Bills, but I'm okay being a little high on Josh Allen, right? Like at the end of the day, I'm like, all right, is Josh Allen really going to tank and make this look too bad? So I think the Bills, I do think the Bills are still a Super Bowl contender. I do not know what happened against the Falcons. Losing to the Patriots at home isn't great, but the Patriots are a good team. We're seeing that. So it was good to see them rebound and absolutely positively demolish the Panthers. The Panthers aren't very good, but you take care of bad teams. That's what good teams do. That's why I still have the Bills as a top 5 team. I think they're going to be there at the end of the year.
Let me get the next grouping up here, and I'll get Claudia's thoughts on this because the New England Patriots are 6-2, and they only go up 1 in Frank's ratings. Got Patriots, Rams, Bucks, Chargers. Claudia, what do we think?
Get them up there. First of all, they look better than the Buffalo Bills. Our quarterback is playing at an absolute elite historical level. We have Stephon Diggs. Our backfield still is very underwhelming, in my opinion. Our defense could be fixed a little bit. But Drake May, right now, quite literally, the best quarterback in New England since Tom Brady. Why are the Patriots only at number 9?
Oh, big 5-year drought of great quarterback. The best quarterback since Tom Brady. I remember way back when. It was like black and white, right? When Tom Brady was there. Yes. I will say this. I'll say this about the Patriots. The win over the Bills legitimized everything, right? Like you beat the Bills. That's a good quality win. It's as much of a quality win as there is in the NFL this season, other than maybe the Broncos winning at Philly. But that schedule, my goodness, how did the Patriots draw this schedule where every week I'm like, oh, the Patriots are 11-point favorites again this week against the Browns, against the Titans, or whoever they're playing. It's funny, as of last week anyway, they had played the easiest schedule in the NFL. They also had the easiest upcoming schedule in the NFL. They are just catching a break like you've never seen before at the schedule. That's why I'm a little low on them. And also, nobody deserved to move down in the top 8 when everybody's winning by double digits in week 8. So I couldn't really move anybody down for the Patriots. They move up 1 spot because I moved the Buccaneers down a little bit. Maybe that was a correction from last week. But I think the Patriots are good. I think the Bills are better. I just think the Patriots right now are facing a really, really, really soft schedule. They're taking care of business. Great for them.
Right, but they're taking care of business. But the Bills should have taken care of business, but instead they dropped back-to-back games. Just saying.
Fair. But if they, as I do, Fitz, as you know, if they played on a neutral field tomorrow, and you give me, I'll take the Bills. I'll take the Bills over the Patriots. Realizing
that is Claudia, like you just got franked, because that's always my argument to Frank on these things. It's like, so you're telling me on a neutral field today, Frank, that you believe the Patriots would beat Tampa Bay? I think
you know
correct. The Patriots beat the Bills in the Bills Stadium. Like, what are we talking about here, people? What are we talking about?
Let's see it over the course. We'll see. I think maybe we're overcorrecting a little bit.
Wait. By the way, you would take the Buccaneers over the Patriots right now?
Yeah. Okay. So the Buccaneers are beat up, and I get that they're beat up. Yep. I just have a hard time.
212 yards against the Saints on Sunday. Ooh. Hey, good for them beating the Saints, but I don't know.
The Saints,
they are beat up.
The Saints have made some teams look ugly this year. The Saints have made the Saints. I feel like there's been several times this week that we're like, why did they struggle against the Saints? Maybe the Saints are just, maybe the Saints are just like the bar lights at 3 a.m. Kind of makes everybody look a little uglier than we thought they were. I'm just saying that's the New England Saints. Let's get to the next grouping here. 13 through 16 here. This is where controversy comes in because we've been waiting for it. That it is the rise. The rise continues up 4 more spots. The 2-5 Ravens right here sitting at number 14. And look, Frank, I kind of want to hate on it. I really do. I kind of want to hate on it. But I also feel like you have truly written the power rankings version of like Cars 6, like a Disney movie, like Left for Dead. And then all of a sudden Lamar's going to come in on Thursday. The Ravens are going to be way behind. And Tortoise versus the Hare, they're suddenly going to squash everybody. Up 4 spots, even without Lamar, sir.
I wish I could have gone up more because I think the Ravens, not only do the Ravens win the AFC North, the Ravens win the AFC North by multiple games. I think that the Steelers are dead. We could talk about them in a little bit. But yes, the Ravens, look, it was just a weird run out to the season for them with the Lamar injury and the Bills loss and the defense struggling. You saw them beat Bears team is pretty good. The Bears have won 4 in a row. The Ravens handled them with Tyler Huntley at quarterback. And it's like, okay, now Lamar comes back this week. Now we don't know John Harbaugh. Maybe you're going to play games with the injury report again all week, and we'll see Tyler Huntley again on Thursday. I'll believe it when I see it, I guess. But the Ravens are going to be a good football team down the stretch. And I don't want to be too low on them. I wish I could have got them higher, but you just can't put a 2-5 team higher than 14. Like, it's just kind of ridiculous. But our friends over at BetMGM, you look at the AFC North odds today, the Ravens are minus 125 to win the division. When is the last time a 2-5 team had minus odds to win the division? That's crazy, but I agree with it. I totally agree with it. The Ravens are winning this division, and they're going to be a team in January absolutely nobody wants to play.
Well, like you, the odds makers are trying to protect themselves looking down the road because they would have a lot of exposure if they didn't do that with the odds. Curious on this Jag squad, though, coming off a very ugly loss. And this is a team that's just been disappointment after disappointment. I don't know, Fitzy, if you agree with the 16 spot. I feel like I'd move them down a little further after last week. Thoughts there?
Yeah, look, Frank, go ahead.
Go ahead, Fitz. I want to hear, because I'm flummoxed on the Jaguars too. I can't lie. What do you got, Fitz?
I don't know what to do with this Jags team. Like, they won so many games starting the season with the defense that just absolutely was forcing turnover after turnover after turnover. And we looked at that and said that's their identity. Is it, or is that a regression to the means thing that's going to happen over the course of the back half of the season? I don't know. And I don't trust their passing attack at all right now. I still don't think that Trevor Lawrence is very good. So, like, I want to credit the Jags at 4-3 for being a decent football team, but I when they moved up to me in your rankings, I thought that said a lot more about teams around them losing than it did about Jags doing anything particularly impressive. But to this point, on a neutral field today, I don't know that I wouldn't take the Jags over the Bears. I mean, I don't know what the hell to make of Caleb Williams right now either. So I don't know.
I mean, this is a team. Part of it is that win over the Chiefs. My number one team is still lingering on the resume, right? You got to give them respect for that. Yeah. They did beat the 49ers, who at that point were still a pretty good football team. Now the injuries have ravaged them. We'll get to them. But so, yeah, I don't know what to do with the Jaguars either. It's very tough. They're kind of in the middle of the road, and I wanted them to be in the middle of the road. And when you do these rankings, trust me, I've spent 13 years at Yahoo every Monday during the fall ranking football teams from 1 to 32. It's not necessarily about the Jaguars, as Fitz kind of alluded to. It might be about the teams behind them. You look at the teams behind them, and you're like, all right, well, do I want to move them up? Do I want to move them up? Do I need the Falcons? Like, really? Like, oh, okay. Like, I guess the Jaguars are just 16. This was a by default type of ranking for the Jaguars. Right in the middle of the road. I don't know what to make of them. I'm not very impressed with them. But yet they're not bad. They're just kind of there. And that's why 16 seems right. There.
They move up ahead of Dallas, who goes down 2 slots in yours. Pittsburgh went down 2 slots of note. Houston goes up 4 slots. What did you see about the Texans that you felt like Texans really that good?
Texans put up 475 yards on the 49ers, and we're going to see that that's the 49ers. Like, the 49ers defense is in trouble. And I tried telling people, and they're like, look what they did against the Falcons. Okay, he had one good game against an offense that we find out is really, really broken in Atlanta. No, the 49ers defense is in trouble, and they're going to slide. They just no way around it. Again, the Texans without Nico Collins put up 475 on the 49ers. So, but the Texans defense is just so good that it's hard to bury them too much. I don't believe in their offense, but I do believe in their defense. They held the 49ers without a first down until the final minute of the first half on Sunday. And for all the 49ers issues, moving the ball ain't one of them. Kyle Shanahan could devise an offense. They could not. The Texans turned off their water the whole game. So impressed by the Texans defense. Still, their offense is going to give them problems. But this foursome right here is just a sea of suck. And not the suck of like the Tennessee Titans type of, but I look at these teams and I'm like, oh, the Cowboys, they couldn't stop a nosebleed right now. And the Steelers, if it was possible, there's sometimes I get the power rankings fits. You talked about it. I do the whole, like, would this team beat this team? But sometimes you just deserve to be in a certain spot. if I could have the Steelers like 7 spots lower, I think I would. I think the Steelers are bad, like low-key bad football. They can't stop anybody. Their defense is horrible. Their offense has no explosive plays because you got a 41-year-old man playing quarterback. It's a cool story, and Aaron Rodgers has played better than I expected. But what do the Steelers do well? What do the Pittsburgh Steelers do well in the year 2025? Jalen Warren, like him, like he ain't Jonathan Taylor or anything like that. The Steelers are going to be. I worry that. I think they might lose double-digit games. I really do. Like after starting 4-1, I just think this is a bad football team.
Claudia, Frank, this is where I take my victory lap consistently, just so you know. With Frank this summer, I said the Steelers would be the hottest starting team in the NFL, and then they would fall off completely and miss the playoffs. Yes, I predicted that back in June. So I just taking my victory lap. Go ahead, Claudia.
Because I was going to say they had so many of those close wins and close losses and the wins to start the season. Then you lose to the Bengals. Yeah. What does that say? And then obviously that revenge game, a lot was on the line for that. Yeah, I mean, the Bengals defense really is the storyline there. But I'm curious, looking at this ranking then with the Steelers at 19, the Commanders at 20, all of the issues they have on defense, although they had some takeaways last night, but still they're hurt up front. They're just not good in general on defense. Now you don't have Jaden Daniels. Is there a world where we see the Commanders move up at all without Jaden Daniels, or do you think they continue to fall? Steelers, Commanders, I see sort of right there. So
yeah, and I hate it because Fitz knows my history with the Commanders. Last year, I was telling everybody all summer I get a lot of things wrong. I'll be honest about that. One of the things I got right was saying, look out for the Commanders. They're going to be a playoff team this year. Now, did I think they were going to win 12 games and make an NFC Championship game? No, not really. But the Commanders were good to me last year. And then I did the WWE heel turn on them. I was John Cena, kicking Dustin Rhodes beneath the belt and said the Commanders are going to regress this year. It's going to happen. So many things went right for them last year that this has to happen. I did not think they would match their loss total by Halloween. Like this is it's almost an overcorrection for the Commanders, but I don't see them. I don't see a way out. Like even the defense is not really good. And I don't even know if the offense is really good. What do they do well on offense? The only hope for them is Jaden Daniels is Jaden Daniels. He's great. Yeah. Like Jaden Daniels is A+, but I just don't see a path to the playoffs for the Commanders right now. They're just not a good football team. This is just regression hit them, and it stinks for them.
Speaking of regression, looking at 21 through 24, what in the hell happened to the Falcons? Like, I'm sorry, you got the Falcons at 21 and the Vikings at 22. The Vikings quarterback situation is awful right now. I think they could be way lower. But if you had told me that the Falcons were 28, 29, 30 this week, I wouldn't have. Like, what happened to the Falcons?
I did not want to punish them too bad, but you're right. I was watching that game and just saying, what on earth did the Falcons remember there was a game this week? Like, did they bring in? They're like, oh, their whole roster didn't show up, guys. Kirk Cousins, you're going to play with 52 guys out of the stands. Like, this is what's going to happen. You got boat raced by the Dolphins at home. The Dolphins, come on. Like, oh my God. It was never even competitive. They just looked like they were going through the motions. I try to not overreact to 1 week ever. This is still a team that beat the Bills. They have looked good at times this season. So I didn't want to bury them with the Titans and the Jets of the world. But, that was such a bad performance by the Falcons. And, one of the things I said before the season, another victory lap coming for him, Fitz. I said, look, the Buccaneers are going to win this division by like 5 games. Like this division stinks. It absolutely stinks. And I think that's playing out. Like there's nobody else in this division that's going to have a winning record. And the Falcons included in that. That was such a pitiful performance from them on Sunday.
I will say too, what makes the Falcons so confusing heading into that game against the Bills, which you just mentioned, prior to that, they looked and they were ranked as one of the best defenses in the NFL, but they had such a soft schedule. So heading into the Bills game, I'm like, this will be the first real test. And then they look great. They quiet their offense. Okay, the defense is actually good. And then they get blown up by the Dolphins. So you really don't know what they are at this point. And now Penix and London are banged up. So yeah, Falcons are a bit of a mess. I see them.
And that did seem like a game where they were like, Penix and London could play, but let's give them an extra week because we're going to beat the Dolphins anyway, right? Because teams play the game of like, we can beat these guys without Drake, without Penix. We'll give them another week so they're 100%. No, you absolutely laid an egg. Kirk Cousins, by the way. Like, can we stop with the Kirk Cousins trade stuff? Because nobody is trading for Kirk Cousins. Nobody is trading for Kirk Cousins. We saw him. It was not pretty.
Obviously, head-to-head doesn't matter, though, because you had the Falcons that high. Let's keep going. I'm just throwing a little shit. Keep going here. Giants, Cardinals, Browns, Raiders on this. The Browns fall 1. The Cardinals go up 1. The Giants stay – look, at this point with no Cam, you really think that there are 7 teams in the NFL worse than the Giants?
The Giants have looked good with Dart, though. I mean, the Eagles were going to get over on them. They were angry at losing that Thursday night game to the Giants, get a little bit of revenge. Okay, you took it out on them. But you're right, the Scatterboo injury, it does limit what the Giants are going to be able to do. But still, who on this list behind? Like, you look at the Cardinals, they've done nothing this season. Absolutely nothing. And I think they get worse with Kyler coming back to the lineup. You look at the Browns, they have Myles Garrett gets 5 sacks and they get blown out by 19 points or whatever it was. Like that offense, oh boy, we're going to have Shedeur conversations, aren't we? Like that's coming. Dylan Gabriel, that ain't looking pretty. Maybe shouldn't have traded Joe Flacco. Yeah, who on this? The 7 teams behind them, I'm just like, yeah, I guess the Giants. They've shown some signs of life and they did beat the Eagles at least.
You don't think that the Browns' defensive upside, though, doesn't put them above the Giants, who don't have Malik Neighbors? And Jackson Dart has looked very good, but I also think he's looked good because of the threat of Cam Scatterboo out of the backfield. So I would 100% put the Browns in the Giants spot. Did you not debate that because of the upside of the Browns defense? And the Giants are all banged up on defense too.
I did. Maybe I just watched too much of the Browns offense on Sunday. I was like, oh, God, get this off my screen. Please, no more. But I think it was rattling around in my head that even when Myles Garrett is Superman and the best defensive player in the world and putting up 5 sacks, you still can't even be competitive against the Patriots.
Yeah.
But by the way, it says a lot about the Patriots. They put up, I think,
best offensive football
yards. Oh my goodness. We're not doing this. Next.
One of they are.
I don't know about you, but I'm particularly excited about that Christmas weekend game between the Raiders and the Giants. That's going to be a juggernaut. Let's get to the bottom of the list. The bottom, yeah, thank you very much. The bottom of the list, the Dolphins at 29. Hey, they go up 1. The Saints go down. The Jets, they have risen. All of a sudden, we have a new worst team in the NFL, and it's the Tennessee Titans. Frank, Jets fans everywhere. You know they scroll to the bottom. They're like, yeah, we're not last.
Yeah, right. And the Jets at least have one legitimate win. That Titans win was so bizarre but they should be so happy they got that win. I don't know that the Titans win another game. Like, you watch them week after week, and I know the tape bros love Cam Ward. And every week on Twitter, I see hey, look at this cut up of Cam Ward. This pass is awesome. Man, that offense has, I believe, 8 touchdowns in 8 weeks. Like, they're terrible. And Cam Ward, I get it. He's got the talent. I like Cam Ward. But at some point, he has some responsibility over this offensive struggles too. Like, he's not playing well. The defense is absolutely miserable. I think they trade everything that's not nailed down next week. The Titans are the worst team I've seen in football this year. And that includes a really, really, really bad Jets team. Kudos to the Jets. Like, I was talking with Andrew Siciliano on Inside Coverage last night. We've been around locker rooms. It is miserable around an NFL locker room when you lose, even for a week. Like, you could tell. I could go into an NFL locker room tomorrow and tell you if that team won or lost the previous week. To lose 7 in a row to start the season is just beyond miserable. I feel good for all those guys. I feel good for Justin Fields showing up, Woody Johnson, the worst owner in sports. I feel good for Aaron Glenn finally getting his first win. I feel good for all those guys because they get a week of reprieve every week. Good on the Jets. Good on the Jets getting a win.
Happy for the Jets. I would also put the Titans last. And as good as Cam Ward people may think he is, I don't think he's that good. The protection, though, when you're sacked 34 times, you really can't do much of anything.
I get that. I get the situation Cam Ward has been put in is miserable. I understand every excuse Cam Ward has. I'm just saying he's also not playing well. I don't know how you look in that desert and see a diamond and be like, oh, wow, Cam Ward's playing awesome. Yeah, he shows some things, but no, that whole offense is just trash.
Before we get you out of here, Frank, by the way, check the rankings out at Yahoo Sports. Are we sleeping on just how bad it is for the Saints right now? Like, they're third to last, and I feel like nobody's – like, we joked about it earlier, but it's a disaster in New Orleans right now.
Yeah, at least they play hard. And as I'll take a lot of victory laps today. I do like doing that. As I said all summer, Why would a team that knows it's probably going to win like 3 games this year spend the 40th pick of the draft on a 26-year-old quarterback who you know is not going to be the answer? Why? What was the point in that? And we're seeing that play out, but now you have to place Tyler Shuck. Spencer Rattler didn't deserve to get benched. Like, yeah, he was turning the ball over, but whatever. He's trying to do everything on a 1-7 team. But you got to take a look at Tyler Shuck. And I think the Saints get worse. I think the Saints are somehow a 1-7 team is going to be worse down the stretch, because I do think they go with Tyler Shuck for at least the foreseeable future, because you got to see what you have before you draft like 3rd next year in the draft. So yeah, the Saints it's not getting better either. I hear about, they're going to trade Chris Olave. Chris Olave is like the only good player you have under the age of like 28. It is going to get bad for the Saints coming up. It's not a young team that's just taking its lumps. It's an old team that's just horrible.
The race to the bottom of the standings and the top of the draft is going to be electric. Frank, appreciate your time. As always, you did a terrible job, and we appreciate you coming on here and meekly trying to defend yourself for it, my friend. Thanks so much. Have a great week, buddy.
Appreciate y'all.
Thanks, Frank.
All right, Claudia, let's take a look at the biggest. Here we go. Like, number 1 overall, the Chiefs. Number 32 overall, the Titans. I don't disagree with either of that. Top riser would be the Titans and the Texans and the Ravens, up 4. Not surprising. Top faller, the Falcons, down 5. This all kind of makes sense. The Baltimore one is the one that gets interesting, because they certainly, we could have excused a loss on Sunday in some ways, not having Lamar, and instead they get the win.
Sure.
Huntley looks great, and all of a sudden now it's like, yep, just what we thought. The Ravens are going to come back to life. Like, this is the most predictable storybook ending in history.
Yeah, and like he said, it's protecting yourself. You have to keep them up in those standings, just like the odds makers are, because we know all of the talent is there. Eventually, they're going to piece it together. But then you have to think about when it makes it to the postseason, they have all the talent, but can they make it past that point? And I don't know. I don't know if they can. I do pretty much agree with this.
If they actually make it to the postseason, like if the Ravens survive all these injuries and they survive this terrible start and they scratch and claw their way to the postseason, I really don't give a damn if they win a game or not. To have gone to the point that they were in the standings and get yourself into the postseason, that means something.
For sure. I don't think any of them care about that, though. That's called brownie points, and brownie points does not win you a ring. And brownie points doesn't make you really more money. At this point, what do you do with that roster? Like, you have all of this talent, but if it doesn't get you anywhere, I understand they're dealing with injuries, but if you do get to the playoffs and you still don't make it, I don't give a damn about the brownie points. They have problems.
But I mean, the problem with that, and I hear you, but this is the problem I say to every AFC fan. Unless you have the best quarterback in the league, the best coach in the league, and the best defensive coordinator in the league, you're probably not going to beat Kansas City. So it's cool, like, you get to the playoffs, but let's remember the number 1 team on this record is still the Chiefs. The Chiefs are still going to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl, and it's all of this fun talk about chaos is going to be all for nothing, just like college football. We're going to end up with predictable outcome.